Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest from Communic, Hiding from the World, out November 20th on AFM Records. This album has 8 tracks, 60 minutes in length, and this is the band's 6th full-length studio album. This album has a lot of dualities to it. If you look at the structure, for example, this is an album that's built with individual songs that are constructed in a very unique way. But when you put them all together, you have an album that comes together as one. There are building blocks in the way they're constructed that allows this record to then consider itself one full album and not just a collection of tracks that have different makeups to it. You move on to the sound, same duality of aspects there. This is an album that's very diverse from a soundscape perspective. Every song pulls in a different direction. Every song has a different genre, a different influence that dictates the atmosphere and the overall experience that track has to give. But when you put them all together, they seem to work well, they seem to intertwine with each other and give you this feel, this experience of being one, of working together towards making this album that's very cohesive and very balanced as far as the soundscape is concerned. And I think the reason for that is how the album was recorded. They recorded this album in a very balanced approach. There's not one single element on this record that is pushing itself to the forefront of the album. This is not a guitar-driven album. This is a sound-driven album. Bass, drums, guitars, they all have equal amount of space, and they're all put together in a very balanced way that allows the overall sound experience to be very cohesive, to be strong, to be thick, to have a lot of volume, to have a lot of depth, and be extremely consistent in that approach from the first to the last song. That consistency is what allows the record to be very diverse underneath the surface and feel very calm and together above it. Now, the album is not just made out of dualities. There's a lot of elements that also help bring it together. One of them is the lyrical content. I wouldn't call this a concept album, but this is definitely a theme record. So the theme and the lyrics really permeates across all songs, and that is one of the unifying elements that really brings the album together. The other one is the vocals. I felt that the vocals were very consistent from the first track all the way to the last track. They were consistent in quality, they were consistent in approach, they were consistent in delivery. I also like what they did as far as backing vocals are concerned. They were used quite a bit throughout the record. I didn't feel like they were there to add heaviness to the album, but they were definitely there to add presence, to expand the volume, to make the vocal tracks feel a lot bigger, give them a lot more substance, give them a lot more volume, and it worked extremely well for a record that is this powerful. When you have an album that has a lot of sound, and the sound is really expanding, you need the vocals to do the same. So by using the backing vocals, they definitely match the intensity and power that the record has on the musical side, on the vocal side. Overall, I really enjoyed this record. This is a magnificent album. It's an album that really showcases how different it could be from song to song and still feel as one, still feel unified, because there's enough elements that really blend this record, that really allow this album to guide you from the first into the last song, offer you variety across that journey, but still keep you connected with all the tracks that it has to offer. A lot of that has to do with the soundscape, a lot of that has to do with the structure, and I also feel that the ability to create an 8-track album, 60-minute in length, there's one interlude track, but outside of that interlude, all the tracks are pushing towards the 10-minute mark almost. These long tracks also allow you to kind of forget about the differences within the songs, lose yourself within the tracks, and therefore lose yourself within the record. So at the end of the album, you don't notice the differences as much as you notice the similarities. That's how this album is put together. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I picked 3 songs, and all 3 are completely different. This speaks to the diversity of sound and diversity experience that this album has to offer. Starting off with Face in the Crowd. Great bass on this track overall. It's how it starts, but it's there overall. I love the bass sound on this song. It has a great tempo. It has some serious bite on the guitars and on the drums. The song is very dynamic. It really pushes the tempo. It's a song that moves forward at a nice velocity. It has a nice movement to it, but it stays very compact. It has power in it. It stays together. It doesn't lose itself as it's moving along. So it's a very well guided track from the beginning all the way to the end. The vocals have a lot of strength. The backing vocals add to that strength and match the overall intensity that the track has on the musical side. So it's a song that's very balanced, across the soundscape and across the vocals and how the two of them work together. There's a more melancholic bridge that really breaks the song. It almost feels like it's a different song built in within the song, but then the track goes back into more of its original route, and it takes you almost to how the track started off. So it finishes off almost as it started, and that piece in the middle really breaks the routine. It allows the song to be as long as it is and not feel that long, because like I said, it's almost like there's two songs together in one. Next, Born Without a Heart. This is my favorite song, and I felt that this track cannot be described. Epic is not a word to describe how epic this song is. The melody and the sound, the melody and the vocals, the mixture of the vocals and the sound on this song is outstanding. A song that feels like it's always building towards something bigger and bigger. This track came across, at least to me, feeling like it had a huge blend of Blind Guardian and Ice Earth. There was a lot of those two elements coming together from those two bands, influencing how this song is put together. It has power ballad moments to it, it has power metal moments to it, it has prog metal moments into it. It's just a very robust, very dynamic, very fluid, very strong, emotionally driven track. I love this song. I love it from the beginning all the way to the end. It's a 10-minute track, and I swear it feels like it only has 3 to 4 minutes because you blink and it's gone. You completely get lost in it. You lose track of time because the beauty of this track is just out of this world. Last but not least, Forgotten. This is the closing track, and this is one of the most somber songs on the album, not just from a musical perspective but also from a vocal and lyrical perspective. I love the atmosphere that this song has. It feels very stripped down. There's some moments of the song that it gains power, it gains intensity, and it seems to become a little bit bigger, but soon it gets deflected and it goes back to a more stripped down type somber song. A lot of melancholy onto this track. I felt a little bit of David Bowie in this song, and how it sounded and how the vocals were coming across at times, the lyrical content. There was a lot of David Bowie influences in how this song was put together, how it's delivered, how it feels, the emotional baggage that it has. What a closing track. A song that closes off the album in the perfect way, because even how the song finishes off, it has this sense of finality to it and how the music trickles down as it closes. I love this song, how it's put together, how it finishes off the album in the perfect possible way, in the best possible way. This is it, guys. This is Communic with Hiding from the World, out November 20th on AFM Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.